The battlefield was a broken wasteland that was ablaze with the remains of both human and alien combatants, as well as the wrecks of fallen ships. Relith's once green plains had turned into a cemetery. The sky was scarred, and ash rained down, covering everything in dark sorrow. Through the destruction, Captain Marcus Vale moved like a shadow, his exosuit armor still in working order, despite being charred. He was the lone surviving member of Delta 3 and his unit was gone. That command didn't give a damn. This had been dismissed as a suicide mission by the War Council back on Earth. However, his HUD blinked, a distress signal, as he slipped behind the broken shell of a Kiathari warwalker. Feeble, faint, alien. He changed his direction after just a second's hesitation. He followed the signal to a fallen temple building tucked away on a cliff. Parts of the ancient architecture smoldered from recent plasma fire, while vines slithered over marble columns. As Marcus stepped inside, his boots crunched on broken stone. In the midst of the rubble, she lay crumpled but barely alive. She was definitely not a human. Her beautiful silver-blue hair fanned around her like liquid light, and her skin glistened with an iridescent violet tint. As nanites attempted and failed to mend a wound across her abdomen, it flashed dimly. Her eyes opened and locked into his with pools of brilliant violet. With an accented yet fluid standard voice, she croaked, "Stay back. I will explode instead of being captured." Marcus lifted his hands and lowered his weapon. He declared, "I'm not here to take you. I'm here to help you leave." Her lips curled slightly as her gaze focused. "You're a person. The species responsible for the bombing of our moon fortress," Marcus retorted, crouching next to her. "I'm also the one that just pulled a spike mine out of your leg. Princess, correct? Heiress of House Verelen is what your armor insignia reads. You are valuable because of that. To mine and your people." Startled by his knowledge, she blinked. He went on, "I studied. Now stop talking and allow me to assist you." He carefully raised her. Her type was partially hollow-boned, developed for a homeworld with lower gravity, which is why she was lighter than anticipated. Pain ripped through her, causing her to flinch and then gasp. Marcus froze as she let out a quiet whimper. "I apologize. That was painful." "No," she said in a whisper. I simply didn't anticipate generosity." They managed to escape the temple and enter the jungle while dodging drones and patrols. Marcus had taken refuge in a wrecked shuttle cabin by dark. He discovered that the princess's name was Saralith, and she lay with her body shivering, wrapped in a thermal blanket. She looked into the flickering heat lamp and said bluntly, "You should have left me. You would have perished. I was supposed to. Stop talking like that." She gazed at him with a sort of tired
amazement. "Human, you are weird. You saved me, yet you smell like violence. Your kind were referred to as monsters by my people. However, you treated me as though I were delicate." Marcus tightened his grip on a protein bar as he peered down. "Today, I lost everyone. Companions. My brothers. All I had left worth saving was you." After that, she remained silent for some time. Then, quietly, "You now own my body." Marcus nearly choked. "What?" Wincing, she slowly sat up. "Life debt is sacrosanct to my species. My last breath was just seconds away thanks to you. I owe you everything, including my body, my bloodline, and my strength." Marcus mumbled as he ran a hand through his soot-streaked hair, "That's not how we do things. You owe me nothing at all. Simply remain alive." Her head was cocked. "So, how should I spend this new life that you have given me?" He stared at her for a while. "Perhaps. Make a change with it. Stop the cycle. Avoid going back to war. I will then remain with you." They scavenged supplies and went surreptitiously over dangerous terrain over the course of the following week, constantly avoiding sensors. As she recovered, Saralith evolved from a mission target to more than that. She walked with Marcus despite having the ability to notify her own people for help since she was fiercely clever, curious, and unwaveringly loyal. Once, while they were traversing a river gorge, he said, "Why don't you call them your folks? They would rush in. Because you would be taken and questioned. Maybe dissected." He gave a snort. Good. Her hand touched his wrist. Because I don't want to part from you. The quiet between them was as thick as the humid air from the other planet. He did not retreat. She sat next to him at the fire that night while stars blinked through the canopy. I've made a decision, she declared. What was chosen? The initial days were spent surviving. She remained silent. Only clustered in corners. The lights made her wince. She growled at her own image. Mason refrained from pushing. In order to create protein gel that was compatible with Corellian biology, he rerouted food processors, lowered the ship's temperature, and turned down the lights. From the viewing port, he spent hours watching her gaze at the stars. At last, one evening, her voice broke the stillness. Nayara. He pivoted. Is that your name? She gave a nod. He grinned. Nice. Bewildered, she blinked. Nice? It means lovely. Unique. Behind her lifeless eyes, something glistened. Weeks went by. She started to assist, clumsily at first but eagerly. She posed inquiries. Her soft, sweet voice came back. She learned how to fly in low orbit from him. She showed him how to use ancient Corellian constellations to interpret star maps. On one occasion, she chuckled when green paste exploded across the ceiling from the food processor. Mason had not heard such a lovely sound in years. She discovered a picture stuck under the communication panel one night while cruising the Tiran's Reach asteroid belt. A human woman. Grinning. Clutching a young toddler. Your partner? She inquired. Mason studied it for a while. Once was. During the collapse, she passed away. Nayara made contact with the frame's edge. You're by yourself. He remarked, so were you. She gave a nod. Up until now. His voice was low as he turned to her. Are you, still by yourself? She paused. Not when I'm with you, he said quietly. Slowly, like gravity on a dead moon, the transformation occurred. She started singing, old Corellian lullabies that reverberated throughout his ship. She got off the cold floor where she had been sleeping. She just lay next to him one night. She muttered, I feel safe here. He extended his arm to grasp her hand. Remain. She started crying. There is nowhere else for me. Peace in the sky, however, was short-lived. Word got out that a Corellian royal was still alive. At one time, the Corellians were as powerful as empires. It was invaluable to have even one genetic heir left. There was a bounty. 10,000 credits. Alive. When 3 mercenary spacecraft attempted to drag Mason down after tracking his ship through a cloud of gas, he learned the hard way. He didn't flee. He struggled. And Nayara was by his side as they broke through the hull. Donning armor that they had recovered from a wreck. Holding the same fragment of metal that she had previously used to stay alive. I'm not scared, she assured him. He grinned, panting and gasping for air. I'm not either. They pretended to be dead. Mason set a shuttle to detonate while in orbit. After renaming the second chance to the Forever Drift, they disappeared, sank into the darkness of peripheral systems. A moon was discovered. A place that is dead. Mason, though, was sick of running. So he made a patch of it terraform. Grew food using hydroponics. Transformed down satellites into shelters and shields. The shimmering moss that Nayara grew illuminated their little dome with gentle shades of blue and pink. She approached him with a sealed pod one evening as the stars bled orange through the glass. Our kid, she muttered. Mason gaped in disbelief. Are you certain? Grinning, she nodded. It's a component of who I am. And a portion of you. He treated the pod as though it were holy. And started crying. Years went by. The dome expanded. They added a library, a stargazing deck, and a tiny reactor. Mason fixed an antique piano from a cruise liner that had gone down. Nayara used human hands to paint depictions of birds, stars, and flowing trees from Karelian mythology inside the dome. In the silence of a rising sun, their half-Karelian, and a voice within his skull. Tanith. Still with you. He raised his gaze to the heavens. The stars were waiting somewhere. And someone needed to keep their secret safe. He was more than a soldier now. He was the last defender of something bigger. And, not to entice, but to save humanity from itself, he would make them all recall the day she unzipped her jumpsuit.